Hey guys, Subsim here. Um, so this is continuing my series on communication. In the first video, the introduction video, I began to explain how communication is broken down into essentially two different elements. There's the verbal, right, and then there's the nonverbal. There's the words that you say, and then there's everything else. Um, so in continuing with that line of thought, there's two styles of communication, not two types of communication. Types of communication is the means by which it is transmitted. I'm talking with my hands right now. You can see the way that I look. You can hear the tone of my voice. Those things are nonverbal communications. The words that's coming out of my mouth is, of course, verbal communication, right? So the next thing that we're talking about is style. There are essentially two styles of communication when it comes to presenting a feasible argument, anyway. I can no longer remember who made the quote, but it's one of my favorite quotes nonetheless. Someone once said, everyone argues. It's just whether or not you're good at it. And I love that because we do. Everyone presents arguments. Every time that you say that you didn't like the price of something at the store, every time that you say you agree or you disagree with something with going on with COVID-19 right now, for example, it's all an argument. You're presenting your reasons for whatever, no matter how deep or shallow those reasons might be, right? You're stating, this is why. This is why I'm saying this. And I sincerely hope that every time that we do say something, there is indeed a reason for it. It's not just, well, I think so. Well, why? Well, I just think so. Well, that's a good way to not get people convinced with what you believe. But if you do want to convince people of what you believe, if you do want to make a conceivable argument, again, verbal, nonverbal, and now there's two styles that I'm going to discuss. The first one is going to be in this video. The second one is going to be in the next video that I'm going to hopefully do tonight. The first one is rhetoric. Now, I'm sure everybody's heard the word rhetoric. That's a rhetorical question, right? Everyone's heard that phrase. That's a rhetorical question. What does that mean? What does it mean to say that is a rhetorical question? Well, we're going to delve into that a little bit. Now, if you really want to study this in depth, I can recommend, if you want to, you can ask me in my comments. I'll be glad to get you some great sources. But for right now, we're going to keep it simple. Not because I expect anything less of you than to be able to comprehend what I'm saying, but because for the shortness of the videos that I'm offering, that's simply what I have to do. Rhetoric. So within rhetoric, there are essentially three pieces. And an effective communicator, an effective rhetorical communicator, should I say, should be able to interchange these and use all three simultaneously. The first of these is ethos. Ethos has to do with credibility. So the fact that I'm on YouTube doesn't actually mean that I know much about computers. However, somebody might think that it does. I, for example, could tell you, see, I'm on YouTube. I know how the internet works. I understand the finer points of computers. Now, my friends would disagree with that. They know better. But you as a viewer, if you don't actually know me, you would be convinced that I really understand something about computers. I really understand what it is that I'm looking at with coding and internet passage, and all of that different stuff. Ethos. So you present something within your statements that give you credibility. So, like, for example, when someone stands up with the COVID-19 thing and says, I work for the CDC, I work for the Center of Disease Control. Maybe they know something about disease. That, just the statement, I work for the CDC, is a rhetorical argument saying, I know what I'm saying, I have credibility. Just the statement itself. Moving on, pathos. Pathos has to do with emotion. Um, a lot of my speech style I modeled after President Barack Obama, and part of the reason why I modeled a lot of my style after him is because that man mastered pathos. He did. Every single time he said, yes, we can, you believed him. You might have hated him, but you believed him when he said it. You might have loved him too. I'm not trying to change anyone's political views at this point. I'm simply stating what type of an argument that was. He said, yes, we can. And then Trump stands up and says, make America great again. It inspires an emotional argument. It inspires Trump, for example, when he says, make America great again, what he's referencing is most Republicans really didn't care for Obama, right? Most Democrats really don't care for Trump. A lot of people don't care for Trump either, but that's beside the point. The point is that by using a statement like that, he's able to convey an emotional meaning behind his words. And those words carry weight off of nothing more than the way he can make you feel. The way he makes you feel. Okay? Third, the third part of rhetoric. The third part of rhetoric is something called logos, and it's easy to remember that. Logos. You log something. You write it down. That has to do with facts and information. Facts and information are important if you're going to convince an argument, right? If you're going to make an argument and you expect that someone's going to believe you, maybe you should tell the truth. Maybe you should state things which are true. So going back to the CDC, think about things that they said. The CDC, Center for Disease Control. Someone that works for them stands up and says, I work for the CDC. They immediately have ethos on their side. They immediately have credibility just because of who they work for and who they are speaking for. Then they start talking about what a terrible epidemic this is. How many people have died, how many people are sick, what the numbers look like. It makes you feel awfully sad. They intend to inspire those emotions. And then, interestingly enough, they're able to do both of those with facts. It is a fact. It is a fact that they work for the CDC. It is also a fact that these people have died. These people are sick. They have presented both ethos, credibility, and pathos, emotions, with logos, facts. That's rhetoric in a nutshell. At the end of the day, the effective communicator, which I believe that all of us should aspire to be, something that I am passionate about, something that I care about, is being able to communicate effectively, being able to present a solid argument for what you have to say, being able to make good standing for what it is that you believe, requires good Rhetoric. So, what were they again? Name them off with me, because all of this is going to be important as we move on. Excuse me, as we move on in the series. First, verbal communication, nonverbal communication. Then there's ethos, which is credibility. And then there's pathos, which is emotional connection. And then there is logos, which is information or facts. That's all that I have for this video. You guys make sure to come back and join me. I promise you that there's more coming, but I'm working through this one step at a time to make for absolutely certain that you understand what my progression is and what the purpose behind things that I will get to in later videos. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure to click that subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it. Click the like button. I'd appreciate that as well. Go down there and click on the comments. Make sure to tell me what you think. One way or the other, never hurts to tell somebody what you think. Communicate with me so that I can communicate more effectively with you. Click the more button if you don't mind. I have a PayPal account. I'm not begging for money exactly, but I am stuck at home, and I'm doing everything that I can to help people the way that I know how and with the things that I care about. And I would appreciate every little bit of support that I can get. Thank you so much for viewing. I'll see you guys next time.